operate stealth. How's that? Can everyone see my screen?
Perfect.
Yes, you're good.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Selma, Mikey, and thank you, Brian. After listening to Brian's challenge, it got me all fired up too, and say, hey, man, maybe is it okay if we enter in that contest? But I think, we have our challenges too here in ETS. Like Brian, we are a department in the executive branch, Office of Enterprise Technology Services. And today wanted to talk to you about that and throw it out there to the community to see, what kind of ideas you folks can do to us. So Brian already took the word hackers, but I'm going to say good morning, techies, right? And welcome to our pitch, the standardized IT project review web application. Okay. If I can figure out how to.
If you look down, okay.
Is that good? Are we on the second slide? Who we are?
Yes, you are.
Okay. We are ETS. We are actually an office in the Department of Accounting and General Services. And what we do at a high level, we're led by the CIO, Christine Sakuda, and we provide IT support services for the state executive branch departments. When I say services, it is a range of things like, infrastructure, networking, cybersecurity, mainframe, application support, data governance, IT governance, and a whole host of things. Okay. So I wanted to give you some background before I get into our specific challenge. One of the areas of focus for me personally, I don't know if maybe I didn't say my title, but I am the IT governance officer. So one of the areas of focus for me personally is to ensure that there are a lot of projects happening, IT projects happening in the state. And going back to Brian and Deher, they have some there as well. And basically, we help them ensure successful outcomes. And one tool or mechanism that we employ is called IVNV, Independent Verification and Validation Activity. And I mean, it sounds kind of complicated, but it's essentially an outside or independent group or organization coming in, sitting in with the project meetings with the state customer and the contractor, making sure that the deliverables are happening on schedule, looking at sometimes the code, looking at their processes, and basically, to minimize risk. And again, the idea is that we want to ensure successful outcomes. Is the system being built right? So, to the specifications, does it look good? But also, are the customers, getting the expected outcomes, right? So the right system. What this IVNV activity does, it provides transparency to the public, right? So that's everybody. And so what does that look like? The outcome of these activities, right, that's happening with the underlying project. Basically, it's in the form of assessment reports. And currently, you can see these reports. It's a list on our ets.hawaii.gov website, and here's the link. But it's a list of all our current and previous IVNV reports. Typically, these happen every month, right? And so these IVNV vendors, they'll wrap up their assessments and findings and put it in a report format, and they'll send it over through us, ETS, and we'll get it on this site. And it's, again, if you have time, I encourage you to go and take a look at the link. It's pretty long right now. This program has been in place for several years, so that list is growing, but that's just it. It's just a list of reports, right? Chock full of information. to give you an idea of what's in these reports. And again, I encourage you to go and open these individual reports. These are some of the graphics and how the data is presented. These are 3 different IVV vendors, all good in their own right. And but again, we at ETS, we haven't established any kind of reporting standards, and it's been challenging for us every time we want to look across departments and projects to see how things are going. So again, I encourage you to go in and take a look at all some of those reports on that list. So how do these reports get to us? I would say it's basically manual, all right? The departments and the IV vendors, they'll send it to us via email. Our staff will go in and get these reports. Typically, it's PDF. We'll do our processing. We'll put a nice cover letter on it, and then we'll post it on the website. And so this happens monthly for various projects. So you can see, I set the framework, right? I mean, there are a lot of reports, good data coming in, valuable data for the public that's coming in, and it's in a non-standard format. It's fairly manual, right? When somebody wants to go in and take a look at a report and they compare it to somebody else's, hey, it's okay. This is different. This is not the same. Makes it challenging. And just the time, right? The turnaround time for these things to happen, it adds up. So we're issuing the challenge that for you folks to develop a web app. I'm calling it a web app in a loose sense, to manage and display and provide some standardization for these reports and dashboards. And you can see here, I mean, we're anticipating tremendous business value, right? We can actually achieve that, again, not just here's a repository to show you what happened, but taking that data and hopefully raw data and using your ideas, your ingenuity, your creativity, your innovation, and seeing what we can do. What can we display for the public? So to help you, to help the groups out there, focus, but we don't want to put too many restrictions on it. So here's some things, right? For us, ETS, we envision having some kind of administrative permissions, right? So what we envision is that, for these projects, we will be able to allow access for IV&V vendors to upload their report data or whatever documents that they're uploading. And that brings me to the second bullet, the IV&V vendors themselves. They're the ones that are creating the content, right? And everything that goes into the reports. So they need the ability to basically upload their data and maybe modify things anyway. So sky's the limit. I mean, it's basically we're counting on your creativity to see what we can do, and of course the public, right? So the users is basically the world, right? So not only the legislator or department directors or staff, but the public. Because again, a key piece of the IV&V activity is transparency. Again, I'm going to have a couple slides here to help you folks out. One thing we're looking for in terms of features, what we call issue tracking. All projects, right, and activities, they have a list of issues, right? Nothing's perfect. So we've given you some categories to use and to help you, kind of get started there in terms of features that we're looking for. Second part is what we call like the metrics or the vitals of a project. And I'm sure it's things that you folks have seen in your classes and your professional experiences. Folks want to know, right? The professors want to know how we're doing on schedule. How did you guys plan on things and how we're doing against that. When you get into the real world and folks actually pay you money, right, for all your great ideas and work, the customer is going to want to know how we're doing against in terms of the money, right, the funding, how we're doing on that, and of course, scope. Right, every project idea starts, with a scope, but there's always that whether it's a risk of doing too much than you agreed upon or delivering under what you agreed upon. But again, we're looking for that at the very least on scope status in these reports. We're anticipating, web browser being the typical interface. The solution must conform to our state digital accessibility standards. And I put a URL here for you folks to go and take a look, get used to that. But I'm pretty sure you're well aware of these kinds of web accessibility standards out there. Pretty flexible on how it gets deployed, but it should be deployable on any one of the major cloud platforms. And where is the data coming from? And again, it's being populated by the IDD vendors that we have under contract. This is kind of like extra stuff, but it would be nice, once we have the data up there, up and running, viewable by the public, that somebody can also export it to Word or PDF, some other ubiquitous format that can be used and ported around. How are we measuring success? Is basically customer satisfaction, ease of use, functionality, of value. And again, it is a challenge for us. And as Brian mentioned, probably it's a problem that we wanted to tackle for a while. Like how can we just move from a static list of documents and really provide that, an enriched application and format for the users. We are open to all technologies, platforms, toolkits, AI, automation, analytics, delivery mechanisms, UI design. And so we purposely left it pretty wide open. So we're really looking forward to your submissions. And that's it from me. And I'll be available for any questions. Thank you.
Awesome. Great job, Todd.